Good afternoon, or morning. It's morning. Good morning, folks. I think there's probably a bit of an echo on this. I've not been able to get rid of it, so I apologize. Just wanted to go live here for a few minutes, talk about what's going on with the weather. New update from the Storm Prediction Center. Let's go ahead and click over to that. That is not it. Yeah, we're going to have to go the old-fashioned way. There's a current update from the Storm Prediction Center. We've actually seen been dropped one category barely across northeast Georgia. There's some question about the warm front as it gets closer to us later, whether it'll slow down or keep going. All the latest short-term guidance does suggest that it will keep going. It's not going to get hung up on the mountains, but there's enough uncertainty for the Storm Prediction Center to have dropped us to a borderline moderate risk, enhanced moderate, still a very serious situation, no doubt. Like I said, this is more an uncertainty thing than what could happen thing. Check the tornado probabilities. This is something we didn't have yesterday. It's only the 1 day update, day one updates that have these. You see a very large area of hatch, we call a hatch, and use this stuff right in here, call that hatch. That's a probability of significant tornadoes. Let's see if you can see down here. I don't know if you can read it or not, but it's a 10% or greater probability of a strong tornado within 25 miles of a point. It just means an increased risk for significant tornadoes. The tornado risk across North Georgia is still high, at 10%. So there's still a pretty good chance to see some tornado warnings later this afternoon across the region. Currently, you can see a pretty large area of rain. The warm front is, let me see if I can see it on here. Show it to you real quick. You want to work? Yeah, you can more or less see it here. We can turn radar off real fast. So the warm front is currently located somewhere right in here. It is moving north pretty rapidly. It started off at the Gulf Coast about 8 hours ago, so it's booking at the moment. Like I said, currently text message. Currently, this front is pushing in. You can see it kind of on radar. It's more or less that same, that location here. Front runs right along here. I actually had a tornado warning on this cell just a bit ago down near Carrollton. Don't think it produced anything. But all this is pushing off rapidly to the northeast. We will see this continue to maybe develop a little bit more back down in this area. But begin to watch these cells down here as they begin to push to the northeast, and there will be more development later this afternoon. Just go over these other probabilities real fast. Wind, this is kind of an odd looking graph, but you see they've got two areas highlighted for winds. This has actually changed quite a bit from this morning. All they had were 15%. Just one giant 15% when they first put it out. So they've added some odd areas for damaging wind. Like I said, northeast Georgia is again borderline, 30% on that. And hail, we got a pretty good chance of seeing some hail. Matter of fact, there's been some small hail probably already around this morning. And there will continue to be some just little pockets of small hail as we go through the rest of the morning. And I expect the warm front and most of the rain to begin clearing probably around noonish. After that, we'll probably see a little bit of a break. We've been having a bit of an issue with weather models, getting on everybody's nerves a little bit. But initializing horribly. This one seems to have the best idea of what's going on. You can see it continues. We keep some showers around. Some of these will probably start showing rotation, especially by this time, which is around 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then, again, I know this looks like tiny green dots and green-red dots, but this is there will have to be some supercells in here. You see the cell right here. Like I said, the placement on these is kind of a moot point. It's impossible to narrow down placement exactly. And then by 11 o'clock tonight, you still see supercells straight across the region. There's still, like I said, there are still some uncertainties in exactly what's going to happen this afternoon. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center has done their job and lowered our probability down slightly. So we're still borderline moderate. There's no reason to really, if we're going to see anything non-significant based off of this. This is all based off just uncertainty with the warm front in this area. If you're familiar with wedges, we talk about those a lot. That's basically what we got going on. A wedge, more or less. If you want to see this, just go to sbc.noaa.gov up here. You can read this for yourself. It won't let me draw up there. You can read this for yourself. You just type in sbc.noaa and they just give an overview of what they're expecting. Let's see if anybody's got any questions. Rabun County, yeah, this afternoon. Like I said, Karen, it's really difficult to narrow down the exact timing on these individual cells. There's too many variables involved. This afternoon, this is actually, I'll show this to you, but take it with. Like I said, placement of these supercells is up in the air. Models are really bad at narrowing down exact placement. But you can see numerous supercell tracks. Anything really orange or brighter, you need to kind of pay attention to. Obviously, the purple is the worst. You can see plenty of supercell tracks later this afternoon across the region. This map is basically showing you where the atmosphere's got a lot of rotation in it. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and hang it up. I got to get some other updates out. How we're driving again will be at 1 wet. Very, very wet. Actually, by 1, there'll still be quite a few showers going on by 1. So I wanted to try to keep this one pretty short compared to yesterday's, or 8 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and hang it up. You guys have a good afternoon. I'll be back later as we start to get a little bit closer to the actual supercell development.